founder and the presiding bishop of Dominion Chapel, and I've seen, a number of us have seen that chapel on, mention this place, Pastor? Kiserian, yes, we're talking about Kiserian and several other places. He has an interest of reaching out to the Maasai, his own community, and he will be telling us a lot about that. Of course, he's an alumni of AIU, and so we share AIU together with you. In Karen, he has planted over 400 churches, and he ministers across the globe with a ministry that is quite dynamic, preaching the gospel, expanding the kingdom of God. And what a person that we can bring on board here to talk to us like a founder. So let's put our hands together. We will answer a few questions together. Next on stage will be Bishop Phillips Katutu. Bishop Phillips Katutu is a founder of Destiny Life Church in Syokimau. I always tell him that he has the largest church and the most sophisticated church actually in Syokimau. If you don't go to Destiny Life Church and you live around Syokimau, then you're not going to a church unless you are coming to his church. He's married to Jacinta and they have 3 children as well. He preaches quite a lot all over the globe, expanding the kingdom of God, and he has leadership ministries that he does in terms of coaching, and has over 30 congregations scattered in the globe, around the world. So let's appreciate Bishop as he comes. These are founders of ministries, and these are the best people who can talk to us. Before you here are men and women who are doing ministry, serving in various capacities. Some of them are founders like you, have founded ministries, and we just want to hear a quick introduction. Tell us about yourself in terms of how you started out in ministry and the challenges that you have faced in ministry and how you have overcome those ministries. Just very briefly as an introduction, and we could start with Bishop Katutu. You want to say something about your ministry, what you are doing? All right. It's exciting. He's always on TV. Citizen TV is running to his church, always carrying out ministry for him, and we are excited to have you here. Thank you. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. Always become very excited when I am in the company of pastors, because I seem to understand the strain of the pastoral among the clergy. So it's a great honor to be here, and also pastor to be back. I'm an alumni of this institution and also a faculty member. He did not mention that one, maybe because I've been away for a while, but I'm now back. Anyway, we founded Destiny Life Church in a company of a few others in 2003. But then I was younger than I am today. That should be like now about 21 years ago. And most of them were ex-college students, not really people of means nor mighty, but with a vision, with a drive. We started somewhere at the CBD in Nairobi, and later on we relocated to Syokimau. We've got a small piece of land to launch ourselves, and we did. And then we bought some bigger space where we have established our current campus right now. And what I can say in this regard is never despise days of our beginnings, because when we began, even though we were few and small, it's like we began pregnant, because we began reproducing when we were still in our teenage life of ministry. And God has been so gracious to us. Right now we're in several counties of this country, running a small bunch of about 35 congregations, and we are growing. Our previous vision is to be able to do 8 strategic churches in the next 10 years. Our vision 2030 strategy is already in place and running, and we thank God for that. I hope that's all.
Thank you. We appreciate us. Appreciate him again. And let's keep it alive so that we can listen to them, interact with them, and ask the questions. Let's go to Bishop Olemangura.
Good afternoon all. Bishop Olemangura is my name. I come from Kajiado County. I'm married, as you heard, and I started ministry in 1992. I did evangelistic mission for 10 years. Reaching the Maasai people, I received a mantle to do that. And I had a mission, or kind of a ministry called Sobina's Evangelistic Ministry. So I did for about 10 years. Then 2002, God told me to be an apostolic ministry, still across the larger Maasai. Maasai land covers Kajiado, Narok, Samburu, Laikipia, James of Baringo, Tanzania, and there are many Maasais in Tanzania and Kenya. So God gave me such kind of a mandate to do the Maasais. And I did it for the last 30 years, and I thank God. 22 years is church planning, so I'm ready to plan such kind of a number of churches. Because of the price that I paid for 10 years, then I started that ministry. And by the grace of God, I'm based in Kisingen Town, that's where we are. And I have churches all across, by the grace of God. But not only Maasai now, it is crossing to other tribes, and also in the Eastern Africa. So I thank God for this moment to come and share what God is doing.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Bishop. And just to follow up with a question about personal well-being and self-care for the pastor, I'm just curious, why is it necessary for a pastor who is spiritual and we depend on the Holy Spirit to oil us to do the ministry? Why should we be concerned about personal care and that space? Why is it necessary for a pastor to think like that? Bishop Mankura, do you want to start us off with that?
Okay, thank you so much. I think, basing on my experience from the land, from where I come from, we had our predecessors, men that were spiritual, but they never took care of themselves. They were just preaching. Holy Ghost power, anointing power, miracles, casting devils. But they never thought of themselves. They never thought of their families. They never thought of the future. And therefore, especially when I started this issue of pastors, those are the many things that I'm attending at the moment. Because I came to know most of their children never became pastors. Because they hate pastoral, because of the situation of the pastor. So, and again, because of this pastor forgetting himself, is doing nothing, they became poor, they became a little bit, because they don't empower themselves in academic, they don't do anything at all, just preaching. So at the moment I'm trying to attend that, how a pastor can balance life, family, and ministry.
Balancing family, life, and ministry. What do you have to say about that, Bishop Katut?
I think this is it's an emotive matter for all of us that are here, and we are clergymen or pastors, church leaders. I will just pull a short story to this, and later on I'm sure we'll build on this. So I was invited by CIC Insurance. It was a breakfast meeting for the senior clergy. And I said, I'm not one of them, but I sneaked to their meeting as an usher. While I was there, Archbishop Harrison Nganga, also known him, was the speaker. And he gave two examples. The purpose of the insurance, they wanted to challenge, inspire, motivate the pastors to think about retirement benefits. And so we were really given a lot of information regarding that. Archbishop Harrison Nganga said that I was not conscious of it until recently, because he said he was passing somewhere in Murang'a and decided to go and visit one of the clergymen who retired. I don't know the rank, it's a level of bishop, whatever. But since I see Canon Kariuki, I guess it was Anglican, so you probably be able to identify. So his friend he passed by. He said he found him. He was probably towards his 70 because I think he retired 65 or 65, so depending on profit. So he found him pushing a wheelbarrow, wearing gumboots, and when greeted, no problem pushing a wheelbarrow, no problem boots, but when he greeted him, he told him, Bishop, umefanya mzuri kupitia hapa. You've done very to pass by me here, so that you may see where you are coming. Okay, remember I said, I never took this matter seriously until I met this man. He told him, when I retired, I was given a gift of a cow, I was given a wheelbarrow, these boots I'm wearing, and I think about $1 million or so amount of money. This is just a small bit. He said, when it was given, it looked like big money, but he said, 5 years later, I don't know where I took one shilling of the million. So the only thing I'm left with, this wheelbarrow and this cow I take care of. So he told him, "Mfanya mzuri kupitia hapa, so that you can see where you are coming." He said, he went back home and he said, I don't think I like where I found him. So the second experience, he was in Nakuru, and again, he passed by to meet one of the veteran apostles in Nakuru. He had retired. And he found him and he told us, if you do not think about the years after your active life of ministry, he told us, you curse your biological children, you also curse your spiritual children. How? He told him, you see, I began ministry na wale ambao niliachia huduma wakanimwachilia. Okay, those who anybody knows Swahili? Everybody knows Swahili? Okay, good. Wakanimwachilia. So he said, lakini na wao 10 ya wao wameanguka, number 10 of them are dead. Okay? 10 of them are dead. That's what he said. Then he told him, na mtumishi usimwache hivyo, don't do it like that. Katuuliza, if you don't believe in curses, wewe unaweza kumwacha hivyo? Mtu amekuambia 10 wameanguka. Amekwambia uniachie kitu. Utamwacha hivyo? Sema nilipiga simu. Nasema nitumie 10,000 mahali. Niachie mtumishi. Mimi start. So the point was, if you do not think about your life after, you curse your own children, biological and spiritual ones, because I'm sure if this man of God and children who are able, like what the bishop has said here, if he had empowered his own children as part of the life after, even if the church does not, then they would have been covered. But because probably the children were not, so they were not able, then he fused the church, he founded and neglected him. Every time one of them died, he felt vindicated. He felt like, yes, in the hard language of Mackenzie Kimarama. That is where we are likely to get into as well, if we do not think about this. So to me, pastor's well-being is very, very central to me.
Very well, very well. I think I appreciate that discussion, and particularly the examples, because they sink home. The bishop is being told, you have done well to pass here, maana hapa ndio unakuja. So here is an example.
You don't like here?
Begin to work on it. Do something about it. What should we do? What should we do? We are young ministers. Some of us have a few years to go. What wisdom will you share for us so that we don't end up there? I mean, it's free for you.
Okay, fine. Let me go before my brother. Well, there's a big tension between where we are and where our fathers were yesterday. It is true, we don't want to do the way they've done it. But it's also a way in which you also do not want to really turn the church resources towards yourself. In other words, you cannot be the sole priority of the church. And when I'm talking to our staff in the church, I tell them, look guys, this church cannot exist to give us salaries. If that's the case, I will pack and go, because salary is too small for me to live for. But the bulk of the resources should be channeled to doing ministry. And you cannot be the focal of the ministry, even though you are very important. However, on the same note, there's a balance. The first thing that I recommend the minister should do is you need to surround yourself with professionals in your ministry that can check and say, with the few resources we have, how much, no matter how little, can be committed towards the welfare of the pastor. No matter how small the church is, it is not too late to begin. Begin somewhere rather than not beginning at all. I believe that should be the starting point for any pastor at whatever level or age.
All right, very well. Begin somewhere, however little it is. And I think he's saying that there are people with programs like insurance companies that can guide us on where to begin from, so that we can start however small it is. As it were. Bishop Mankura, do you have some additional thoughts?
Yeah, possibly what I've done, and possibly might be a help, is that, the first thing is that Paul is telling Timothy, take care of yourself, then the flock. Okay? I say, take care of yourself in the flock. Then I tell pastors, if you take care so much on people, then you forget yourself. Those people later on forget you. So you better think about yourself and balance what you're doing, because you can retire how to approach. So what you need to do is that think about a side hustle. Now in my community, They don't believe in a pastor without cows or sheep, in that matter. If you don't have, then you are fake. But you can imagine, some years back, our predecessors, they said in Kudu, you are too busy to farm. Too busy to farm. So they occupy their calendars in reaching out, in preaching to people. Then they forget to do that. When I corrected that mentality, because the issue here is you're not supposed to be the one to have this thing. You're supposed to hire a shepherd. Okay? You're supposed to hire somebody to take care of your business. But now there's that mentality, I'm too busy to do that. Another one, I am a man of God. That's not my level. I'm a man of God. I cannot do such. I cannot have a farm. I cannot have a plot. I cannot have this because I have tithes and all that. But they don't know that tomorrow there will not be tithes. Tomorrow there will not be offerings. Now, naturally, people respond on your preaching. If you're not preaching, nobody can respond to blessing. So if you retire, nobody can come to you because they are coming to you because you are alive and you're active. Immediately, they started doing. And now most of them are farmers.
Wow.
And most of them are buying their own plots. And most of them are buying their own cars. And you can see the future is bright for them. Because they have understood that one hand, the gospel, another hand, your own issues.
Wow. That's a good way of doing it. If you listen to that, on one hand, the Bible, you are preaching the gospel, and on the other hand, you are using your hand to
And
create
also I
wealth.
gave them an example of Paul the Apostle.
Yes.
And I told them you cannot measure with that man of God. But he was a tent maker. So he had all the time, and as we are cheating ourselves, we don't have time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But he had time. And he had somebody else to take the produce to market, the tents, Priscilla and Aquila. So the moment they had that, they started working. And again, they gained respect in the community.
In the community. And the most important thing is to gain respect in
Yes,
the community.
exactly.
Because that's how your gospel
Yes,
will get into
yes,
the
yes,
community.
yes.
If they don't respect you, absolutely, you are lost together with your gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dr. I also needed to add and say, and here is my very, very humble recommendation, because coming from mistakes I've made and mistakes I've seen my fellow pastors make, I even have a problem trying to pass this truth to my own pastors. I say, unless as a pastor, you are working in an established church, which is an institution, please stay away from this thing called full-time.
Correct.
Stay away from it. Unless you are like Canon who is coming from a good structure, very structured, you are in a formal employment. Stay away from this thing called full-time ministry. Someone told me, if you are not careful, this you call full-time means you can be full-time. F-O-O-L-S, full-time ministry. If you're not careful. Because look, Bishop, your church has got less than 100 members. When you're telling us you are full-time, honestly, what are you doing from Monday to Friday? What are you really doing with 100 members or slightly more? Get something else, however small. During COVID, I issued a demand to our pastors. I told them, staki kuona. I'm sorry to say this. Staki kuona mhubiri amevaa tai. Yeah, niwaambia tuweke tai chini. Na nikaanza twende kazi, kwa sababu ukivaa tai itakuzuia kuuza kwa kioski. Sasa hakuna sadaka. Watoto walala njaa ukiwa unafunga tai yako. Tutoe tai, tuende sokoni tafute mboga watoto kwanza wakule. And a lot of my pastors did it. Nasema hiyo gari, turn the boot of your car into a shop. Enda market nunua cabbages na sukuma weka ndani. Simama pale kama uweze ka kijana tu, lakini uko tu mahali karibu. Instead of kuja kufunga taenda kukaa pale, ngojea tu Bwana alishe vile alilisha Elijah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very sad. I was watching on Facebook, and there's this man, you all know him, Sami Kaiguri. Anyone who knows Sami Kaiguri?
Yes, yes.
Sami Kaiguri is known to a number of us, and he goes out and reaches to people in need. And so this week, I think it was this week, he was displaying to us a pastor whose house has been locked. So he took a video and the pastor is saying, oh yeah, you know, they came and they locked the house this way, now I cannot lock from inside, and they have said by Monday they will come and remove the door. And so Kayuri is pleading with the people who are reading that message to say he is owed 4 months and he's supposed to pay 16,000 Kenya shillings. So he's asking everybody, send whatever you can so that we can rescue the man of God. But when I'm listening to the bishops here, it looks like that is foolishness. Absolutely. That seems to be foolishness. Well, I'm happy I didn't contribute anything. Because how do you honestly look up and you have ability to do other things and you are not doing them? And there are resources around you here. I mean, that is quite foolishness, and we need to work hard so that our gospel can also be respected and do the work of the ministry with integrity. I mean, when you stand on the pulpit, of course, everybody should know you have prepared for a whole week. I mean, they can tell that this guy has spent time in doing the ministry or preparing the ministry that he has brought to us, but not kienyeji, because you don't have other things that you are doing. So tell us, I'm interested much more about burnout. What is burnout? And how does it affect the pastor? Is it a reality to the pastor? What are the telltale signs? Maybe we are already burned out. Yeah, it's free for all. You are free to go, Bishop Mankura, Ole Mankura, if you want to. This thing of burnout and...
I think to me, burnout is when somebody is undergoing some stress and the inner feeling that you're not fulfilled and you're not getting any breakthrough. So there is a jam coming into a person, and that jam affects their spirituality. And when they affect their spirituality, your impact or whatever that you're trying to achieve and do go down. Then you ask a lot of questions, and especially when time lapse. Time lapse and your energy is too small now, you try to do something, you try to make ends meet, and nothing's happening, then there's a little bit of some confusion and giving up. And the moment it happens like that, most of us resort to a kind of regretting and just say, God, where are you? You know, I'm a failure, what's happening? So I think to me, so that burnout do not come, a pastor should know what to do for personal fulfillment. So that you can have what you're doing, and especially for yourself and the family. Because I was telling another person, now look at this. Your wife is idle, she could have been doing something. Your children could have seen what you're doing so that they may do. But in that house, there is no way you sit down and say, this is our goal for 2024. This is our goal. This is what we are supposed to do as a family. But the moment that you're not getting anything, and the ministry kind of, you are too busy, but nothing is coming. Your energy is used, but nothing is coming. Then we are here, 50 years, 60 years, nothing is happening. So there is that giving up that is affecting many, many, many pastors, and many are quitting. I'm reading somewhere, most of the people, even the US, are giving up. That's a third world, first world. Pastors are quitting ministry. Even here in Kenya, pastors are quitting ministry. Na kama waquit, wanatapeli. Wanatapeli watu. Hiyo sasa ndio shida. Na uongo. Na kufanya mambo ambayo haifai katika huduma. So, hiyo ndio inaletwa na maisha ya jana. Huku jipanga, huku jiweka vizuri. Sasa maisha yamekuja crossroads. Hujui pa kwenda. Unaona kuna watu wameenda, unajaribu kutafuta njia kuwakuta. Huwezi wakuta kwa sababu ulichelewa mahali katika kujidanganya. So I think hiyo kitu tukiamua leo kusema tutafanya nini, burnout itakuja. Ya mwisho, wengi wetu hatukai chini kufundishwa. So hatuelewi chochote, you are just empty. You just preaching empty, haleluya, glory 7, haleluya 12, hakuna kitu, hakuna substance. Then unaweza kuta uko empty kiroho. Nimeforce wachungaji wetu wawe na day ya rest, wawe na day ya ofisi, na wawe na sabbatical leave.
Oh, wow.
Waende out of the church 2 or 3 weeks. Waende waone shida kidogo, na wasije kwa huduma, watembee nje, waone vile mambo itakuwa later, watoke. Na ni compulsory, hata wako hapo. One is there. You know, I forced them to be out of the altar.
To be out of the
Out
altar.
of the altar.
God there and see how
Enda
the
huko uone manani. Na uende familia yako, na utembee uende kwa kanisa ya mtumishi.
Yes.
So that you don't burn out in the name of preaching. Utakufa.
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 Na tutakuzika. Na mwingine achukue kazi.
All right. That's good.
I like that.
All right. Now, gentlemen, ladies, as I told you, as I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself, right? So that's the baseline. So whatever I'm going to say, no, I'm also speak to myself. When you talk about burnout, it's an emotional experience, and that emotional experience is mostly characterized by a feeling of depletion. You feel depleted. It is also a feeling of feeling drained, what you call emptiness. You feel like you are empty. Sometimes when you have this experience, you can't tell whether it is spiritual. Sana hasa watu wa kiroho, we always see it spiritual. Nasikia nikiwa chini. So what we usually do, we retreat to prayer and fasting, because especially the Pentecostals are more wired to only address the spiritual part of a man and forget the soul part of a man. Because the soul has to do with your mind and with your body connected together, whether you want to say that dichotomy or trichotomy. All right. So, however, not all. Every time you feel low, does not necessarily mean that kwamba kiroho uko chini. Unaweza kuwa kiroho uko sawa, lakini shida iko pale kwa mwili, that emotional. But you detect, you feel like emotionally, you feel you are drained. How do you detect that? Most of us, again, do not even know you have a burnout. But one way of detecting it is loss of interest. What you like most, you don't want. Preparing as someone becomes so difficult. Even prayer is no longer motivating. Even being home is not. And actually, depending on what you do, assuming now you are a pastor, you don't even want to go to church. Personally, I'll relate with you. I know I have burnout when I want to quit ministry. There are moments, even at success point, especially sometimes it is after a major success, not even failure. Sometimes I'm coming from a successful event. At times, everybody in church attending me, Bishop, we pastor. God is on our side. They don't know I'm actually contemplating on leaving ministry. I have in my lifetime experienced 3 worst case scenario burnouts in my lifetime as a pastor for 25 years. 3 worst case scenarios. Nobody was fighting me, but I contemplated very seriously leaving ministry. One time I told God, I think I've done my best. Someone else can take it up from there. And I meant it. I felt drained, I felt depleted, and it's now I began to discover that it is burnout. That burnout, servants of God, burnout is real. Most of us spiritually, we say, Shetani ananipiga. I want to tell you that that's the devil's 24-hour occupation. So the devil was fighting you yesterday, today, tomorrow he'll still fight you. So in other words, simply saying, that cannot be an excuse because he's always fighting you. Always ask yourself, when did you die? It could be you are just weary. Think of Elijah. Elijah and a powerful encounter with Jezebel on Mount Carmel. Tremendous victory. He actually killed the prophets of Baal. The next season we see him, what is telling God? Kill me, kill me, kill me, I'd rather die. The Lord has done so much for you. So, that is what burnout. In other words, the man of God was going through serious burnout. Remember at some point he told God, I'm the only, when God came to him, he told him, they have killed all the prophets. I'm the only one remaining. In other words, asking God, where were you when Jezebel killed prophets? And then the Lord told him, you are prophet, you are wrong. I have got how many thousands?
7.
I've got 7,000 I've reserved for myself. So the feeling of I'm the only one going through this, that sense of loneliness, that explains one way of preventing yourself from burnout. But let me say before I go that one, let me say one thing more, Daktari.
Yes.
One thing more that helps me quickly detect that I have burnout. Number one is when I want to quit, that extreme end. Secondly, when I am no longer, I'm not passionate. I personally say the easiest thing for me is to prepare a sermon, and the easier thing for me is to prepare a sermon. The easiest is to preach it. That's for me. Okay. Right now, Doctor, if you tell me in the evening you have this kind of congregation, whatever, I'll just tell you, give me 30 minutes. I will sit down, I will pull my resources together. You will think I will prepare for a month, because that's who I am. When I find myself not passionate about what I like most, I detect something is wrong with me. Secondly, is when I don't want prayer. Another I don't want, whereby I know I ought to pray, I should pray. I wake up, I tell myself, let me do it the evening. The evening, and for 2-3 days, I always know I could be going through burnout. Number 3 is memory. Many people don't know. When you find yourself forgetting minor details, kitu rahisi, umesahau miwani kwa nyumba. Okay? Same day, umefungia gari kufungua kwa gari. The following week, ujui tai uliweka wapi. Vitu ya kawaida tu ile unajua tu. Unatafuta na unapiga kila mtu kwa nyumba, nitafuteni hii. And men can be very stressing. But what tells me I'm the worst man when I've lost something. The household is looking for it, children are looking for it, my wife is also looking for it to rescue the children. I'm also looking for it, and the house has no peace. There's a point where you go to work out. The man hapa tu kuna mtu alichukua hapa. I always tell myself, I think I'm having burnout. Solution number 1 is to accept your burnout. Accept, recognize that I could be burnout. Accepting helps you tone down, and it helps you to look for a solution. The second thing that I also do and I recommend is you need to have very close friends and people I call buddies. So to say, that is my buddy for a very long time. A buddy is someone you can meet and talk nonsense. Kucheka na kuongea vitu bure kabisa zina maana. Kutana mpige story, ongee, sengenya bibi yako. No, I'm kidding. I'm not serious. I'm not serious. Just my group are telling you. I'm talking about those useless, remember I say useless things, right? No serious things like teach me how to draw a proposal or teach me how to open a church. No. Wewe mama kusukuma nafanyanga nini? Unafanyia story bure tu. Haina maana. Okay? Kwa kahawa, enda mahali ukunywa kahawa. Okay? Na hiyo kahawa ukienda, chelewa. Hiyo siku usifike nyumbani mapema. Canon. Chelewa. Piga story. Daktari, instead bwana twende nyumbani. Ukifika nyumbani, uulize, "Umechelewa wapi?" Mwambie, bure, yani utafunguka. Because ukifika nyumbani tu hali utaketi chini unaanza kuona makosa kwa nyumba. Fika umechelewa, mama kuuliza ulikuwa wapi? Mwambie imagine niko napiga story na Bishop Mankora tu, hakuna kitu nilikuwa nafanya. Ukiona kitu unafunguka unaanza kuongea. It helps quite a lot. Also, each one of you last one daktari afili also find out what do you like to do most? What excites you in other words? What excites you much? What excites you? Personally, I've discovered myself that whenever I travel out of town, and especially now I have a farm, so ni kama tulichaguliwa wakulima. In our church, the young people call me Mkulima. That's my nickname. Naitwa Mkulima. Okay?
Mkulima number 1.
I didn't want to call me, but that's the point. Mkulima number 1. Because on my social platform, I post the social part of me. And partly wataniona kwa shamba ni kilima namna hiyo. So it's something I like. I go home. Mimi pia napenda ng'ombe. Yangu ni mbili tu. Kiongozi. Lakini napenda sana. Asante. Tutaongea. Okay? Napenda livestock. My wife likes more crops. We share passion. Anapenda mimea, so we have a farm. So hata nikifanya shamba hii ya kulima, hiyo sana hasa ni area ya mama. yangu ni ng'ombe, mbuzi na kuku. Me when I go home usiku, sometimes my wife anashangaa, nachukua torch usiku, nikifika nachukua torch, naingia kwa boma, namulika ng'ombe, anaishika kama kulika tu nione, na amuka, naambia yamuke nione vile okay, that's something I love. Asubuhi naamka mapema kurokota mayai kwa kuku, mapema na mama napata nimeweka ndoo ya mayai, mfanye kazi huko, na nimeanza kufagia huko. So I just trying to do something that I like to unwind. This subject that I can talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's appreciate the bishop. Ongeza pia askofu.
Swala la challenges. Changamoto ndio inaleta burnout pia. Changamoto ya uchumi, changamoto ya familia, changamoto imeleta burnout. Unakuta mtumishi anang'ang'ana na vitu. Huduma umeachwa, nyumba haijalipwa, karo ya shule, mke ni kisirani kiasi kidogo, mtoto amekunywa bangi, vitu kama hizo, changamoto. Nakuta kwamba spirit ya yule mtumishi anashindwa hata kuomba, anashindwa kusoma neno, anaogopa kwenda nyumbani. Tena ndio hii divorce ni kama inaonoka. Na huo unahubiri kuhusu hiyo. Leo imekupata. Now, and the biggest problem, no mentor, no friend, as he says. You are not in a good group. Kuna ile group huko ya excitement, ya power, lakini si ya mahitaji. Sasa pale mtu wa Mungu anapatwa. Look at COVID, kwa mfano. Okay? People are not there. Hii sadaka ndio ulikuwa unalipa nyumba na kuna sasa. Na una ng'ombe, na una mbuzi, na duka kuna mtu ananunua. Changamoto. Hizo changamoto zimeleta bana kwa watumishi. And nowhere to run to. David alikuwa na hiyo changamoto. Kama hakuwa na Samueli, burnout ingekuja. Hata angequit. Hata angeinua mikono. So, burnout can come because of challenges that we go through. Very, very serious challenges of our life. Even challenges of health. Challenge of health. Challenge of loans. Challenges of all kind, of all manner. I've seen pastors getting a burnout because of things they are going through. Serious stuff that they are going through. Look at them, serious stuff. You got nothing to take home. You got nothing. Your kids are coming. They want school fees. You have nothing. And you don't want to show. You don't want to show. Now you've taken a loan, or even you're borrowed from somebody. Now, you're borrowed from two people. You want to borrow from the third to silence this one. Kwanza kae kidogo. A lot of issues. Jam inaingia kwa roho na jam inaingia kwa akili.
I think they are doing a good job. Do you think so?
Especially those of us who have got younger children.
Yes.
Because I've discovered when they grow older, they want privacy, they are always in their rooms. But with the younger ones, don't be serious. Be a friend to your wife. Let your wife be someone you can play around with. But especially your own children. More your wife. Because even though I don't know what I know. Alright? Just play with them. Just no more play. Physical play. Do play with them. My children like organizing, especially when they are back home. For those who are in colleges and boarding schools. We have every Sunday evening, most of Sunday evening, we have what we call family game. We do family game. And there's someone who, so it's a competition which will be on the screen. We are competing. There are various questions. Sometimes a description, you are told to say a description of, you say, who is that in a family? They say, he likes this, he does this, he like this one, you raise your hand. So sometimes there is even hide and seek, that they will go hide things somewhere and say, go look for gifts like this. The one who collects more. So I see myself running to open carpets, to do whatever. Personally, I know by the time that is done, whatever stress I had for the day is actually gone. Just playing with my children in the house, just small things. Because I know there are higher things like, which shall discuss later, take vacations. But I don't want to go there. Right now, nataka tuongee tu ile vitu ya kawaida hapa. There's another one, take vacations. But the simpler ones which don't require vacation, just right home, play with your kids, play with your wife. And those small things are not spiritual, but they can help your spirituality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, I can hear there are now questions.
And as ladies, you're addressing the men to play with their hands.
Ladies.
Oh, ladies. No, I think I should have simply said spouse. Say spouse. Sorry for just being who I am. A typical man would think of.
Sure.
Yeah. And definitely you will discover that across the country, 90% of pastors are men.
Sure.
Yeah, so that you can understand my bias, but not because of anything. So maybe for a pastor lady, pastors ladies, an interesting psychology has shown that women handle burnout better than men. They are the best because women have got their chamas. Not only chamas, every woman has got 1, 2, 3, 4 bodies. I can tell you, it will not be interesting to find that if you check among the 3 of us here, you find that we may not have more than 2 or 3 bodies.
Imagine.
See, sometimes we don't pray for them and we don't get them. So we stay with our things, then burnout enters, that have sugar issues, pressure issues. Do you know a man can be fired and wake up and put on a suit and go to work na mtu wa kazi na akae miezi mke wake akiviao na yuko kazi anakuta. So our problems are big.
You know, I'm told the ladies go into the salon,
Yeah.
and just a stranger, as long as wamekutana pale kwa salon, That's very interesting for the ladies.
Maepo sasa tunaishi kwa barabara by a lady. Wanasimama, wanaongeleshana kidogo. Baada naona kwamba can I take a photo? Yes.
I like you.
I like you. Can I take a photo? Yes, anapiga tu hapo. Namuuliza who is that? And I don't know her.
Yes.
And I can't understand. So women live in a world of their own.
Take the number.
Yes. Where can I get this one? Number, then photo. Thank you very much. Who's that one? I don't know.
Since we are women, there is a question over there. Let's open for the question so that we don't lock them up.
Concerning how to do balance my ministry, I'm a full-time pastor, family and business. How do I balance these 3 things so that I can live well?
Family, business, and church.
And church.
Over to you, bishops.
Okay, I think let's imagine that God have called you now. You are in the ministry. You are supposed to eat, right? You are supposed to have a house, right? You are supposed also to lead a sister, like Peter. You know, Paul saying it's only Peter.
Was accompanying.
He was accompanying. Now, I think to me, kitu ya kwanza, you're already a pastor. Hapa kuna mambo mengi. But we are talking about hii mambo ya full time ina shida. Mambo ya full time ina shida. Kwa sababu gani? Sadaka ikiwa ndogo na mshahara hakuna, utalaani watu vile tumesikia. Utamama, na katika Biblia murmuring is a curse. Okay? Utajilaani kwa kumama. Okay? So ningefikiria hivi, one, tengeneza program yako. Kwa mfano kama mimi, niliamua hivi, kwamba kuna siku nitapumzika nyumbani kwenda farm. Okay? Kwenda kuangalia maisha yangu. Sasa hakuna, hiyo siku ni block. Siku ya kukaa nyumbani tu. Hakuna mission. Sasa unaenda kuangalia duka, unaenda kuangalia ng'ombe zako, unaenda kuangalia kitu na achana na watu. Hiyo ni moja. Mambo ya family altar, ya kuwa na familia yako. Kwa sababu sana sana watumishi wa Mungu wanakuwa too busy mpaka hawana time na watoto na hawana time na mama. So mama anapata marafiki na labda anafanya kazi zingine kule, lakini amuko pamoja kabisa. Kuna time ya ministry. Tuseme kuna siku naenda kwa ofisi, kuna siku ambayo unatembelea mshirika, na kuna Jumapili. Separate hizi vitu, weka kwa program yako. Sema hii ni yangu, hii ni ya familia, hii ni ya church. Ukifanya hivyo utakuwa umescore yote, utascore yote na yote itafaulu. Lakini moja ikibeba utakuwa an absent father, kwa sababu time yako imekuliwa na washirika. Tena hapa watoto wanasema sijapata wakati dadia kukuambia nina shida, so nimenyamazia kwa sababu nimeshindwa wakati. Nina mtoto ambaye anapenda kunipatia appointment tuongee, na niambia daddy, when are you free? When are you free daddy? Namwambia siku na saa, nataka tuonane. Ni mwanaume, nataka tuonane tuongee. Msichana mdogo grade 7 ananiambia daddy, ni saa ngapi utakuja nyumbani? Kuna mambo nataka tufanye na wewe. Ni saa ngapi utakuja nyumbani? So unapopanga program unajua saa ya nyumbani. Hii ndio saa yangu ya nyumbani. Okay? Pale workers na business, if you don't attend watakuiba. So lazima upatie time. Unaweza sema every 4 or 5 p.m. naenda kuangalia ama kuamkia or something like that. See? The moment you do that, umesha balance yote na zote zimefaulu na zote zitatokea.
Very good. Let's appreciate that. Let's do that. Only to be panga.
Yes, to be panga pro.
Yes,
I want to ask you, mchungaji, before you became a pastor, what were you doing? Kusema tu.
Teacher.
Ulikuwa mwalimu. Then ukaacha kusomesha ukaingia kwa full time. You are acting like I was, because I'm a Pentecostal, so my bishop gave me a prophetic word that the Lord has called me.
Amen.
And that if I will leave what I'm doing and serve Him, He will bless me. And so I knew about calling, so I stayed to ministry, I stayed to what I was doing. Good enough, I was just newly married, so I didn't have much responsibilities, and we were able to hustle with my wife just to make sure there's food and water in my house. But 7 years later, and children were going to school. But when I look back, I discovered I made a mistake. I said this was a mistake, and I'm too young to do this mistake. I changed my story. I started doing business, and I noticed again business was pulling away me from ministry because of the nature of business of doing, and it also had a lot of dangerous traps because I began to do kaya business, and one time gari yangu ilichukua Naivasha ikiwa na bangi. Yes, bangi imejaa bangi. Mtu alikomboa gari mwezi mzima na kalipa, akashikiwa Naivasha gari ikiwa imejaa bangi namna hii. Yeah. So now kazi kutoa hiyo ngari kwa polisi na kusema bangi sio yangu, you are not in cahoots. What's up? At that point I felt like, Lord, hii biashara pana. So okay. So but see, I'm looking for solution. That moment is I sold all my cars and went back to school. I went to do a master's. And that's how I came to Chadisa University.
Yeah.
All right. I became a teacher here. So now I was doing ministry part-time and doing teaching part-time, both of them together full-time. So I recommend, my brother, looking at you, you are very young. Don't live with a bad decision. Sorry, if I'm sorry, I'm spiritual. But if you follow, you realize I may have some wisdom.
Yeah.
Simply, but what he has told you is very good. Balance. I am sure now, you may not go back to teaching because that's another story. But there's a way you can create a balance. Siku ni saba ya siku. Jiambie, panga vizuri. Siku hii ni hapa ni hapa. Na kanisa limekuja kujua, kanisa hawezi anguka, kanisa ni ya Mungu. Unless ile nganga alisema ya kuangua ni ya kuanguka.
So inaonekana basi pia masaa ya kufanya kazi lazima tuyachunge.
Yeah.
Sababu labda kuna mchungaji analala anaamka saa 4, na labda kuna mchungaji analala saa 7 anaamka saa 10. Sijui but kuna swali pale kabla.
Bwana asifiwe.
Amen.
I'm Evangelist Naomi Rotich. Mine is not a question at all. It's just to add what our ministers have said. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm very much interested in balancing family and ministry and business. I'm just answering our brother.
Yes, yes.
I was once there and I didn't balance myself. You come late home, you find children as asleep. You go very early in the morning, they don't see you. There's even one time my children asked, where is our daddy? Because he was not there, he could go even Kesha, anakuja saa 8 anaenda mapema. So I want to just to say that balance yourself. How to balance yourself, as our bishop said, set a day where you will be with your kids. Set a time where you will switch even off your phones.
Sure.
And then be there with your family. As a testimony myself, I was asked one question by my son. Then I open up. They say, yes, you see now, you've been so quiet, we don't even see you. And now this is the time you open up for us to ask you some questions. Now, for me, what I started doing, I was not living here in the country, I was somewhere. So I said to myself, I'm a Kenyan, and these kids are Kenyans. They have to follow their culture for Kenyans. So what I want to say that on Sundays, maybe after church, I used to just be with them, cook nice food for them. They sometimes ask me who are coming home, but I told them we are my visitors. So let's set that time for our families. Time coming home. Coming home, come on time. Look, come and meet your children before they sleep. That's very important. Because these children, they copy. When you come late, they come late, you ask them, what you are doing, so what answer are you expecting for them to answer? So let's really focus on our families, because families are very important.
Families are very important. Let's focus on family. I think I've heard about family. Looks like that is a place we must work hard so that we are in harmony with our spouses and our children. We are available for them. After all, that's where we shall go. When all is said and done, it is in your family that you are going at the end of the day. Let me find out if there is any other question before I ask them what do they do for their leisure.
I have a question to Bishop Katutu.
Yes, sir.
You've said you after a while you realized that you messed.
Yeah.
Which type of business do you would you
Recommend
maybe
them.
advise us to take? Most of us, some of us are young, and maybe we might have challenges in finances and churches.
Okay.
What can you say about that?
I think business people advise us to do what you are competent to do. When you do business alongside your competence, it becomes easy work. Maybe, let's say for example, if it's my brother there, akaanza kashule, yeah, akaanza kashule, itakuwa rahisi kwake sababu teaching is flows out of him. Hata kama unaanza tu kindergarten na waeleweke mwalimu mmoja bila wa ECD na ukue kwa na masiku ya kumanage hiyo shule pale, si kwake inatoka directly. So that's one. Or what you are passionate about. When you do what you like, okay, you succeed faster. And also, so advice is saying, don't wait until you have got big money or big capital to start. Start wherever you are. You can start with one. I'm told one time there was a motivational speaker. I don't want to be like a motivational speaker who was beaten up by young people in Githurai. Yeah, kuna motivational speaker alichapwa Githurai. Aliambia kwamba ati biashara yangu ya kuku ilianza na 1 fedha. Manyoya moja alianza hivyo akampiga na mawe. Unaona gani? Mimi nilianza biashara yangu ya kuku na manyoya moja. So I don't want to speak that one. I mean, so I'm saying, I don't know if you are a motivational speaker, nikwambie kama huyo, but I am sure, and probably I'm not the best person to advise you on this, because even me, I am a student when it comes to business. In other words, I'm not an expert in this. Hata mimi kama saa hii mambo ya ukulima najua wakulima wakubwa kwa hiyo wananisaidia do this, don't do this. So but once you build that interest, I am sure you know someone who is excelling business. Umuulize. Most people, business people, are failed in that, are failed in that, failed in that. They will tell you that one itakusumbua, hii itakusumbua, lakini hii na hii unapenda hii na hii, hiyo inaweza faulu na haihitaji pesa mingi. So I think that would be my advice for now.
So assess your strength, assess what you have,
Yeah.
and see what business you can do, or what income generating activity
Yeah.
you can have. There will always, once you pray, there will always be something that you can do. Let me get a round of 3 questions. I can see question 1, question 2, question 3. Do we have any other? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and they will answer them together. I will be here for the next less than 5 minutes. Actually, should be done. By 4, I want you to take your tea. So number 1.
Mine is not really a question, but I find what our facilitators are saying very, very interesting. I am a bishop, preparing what church will, or preparing what church ministry, and this is my wife. And like what my brother here, pastor, is asking, I just wanted to add one thing to what he's just saying. That in business, nobody will actually tell you what is the best business to do. You do what you are passionate about and what you are talented in, because I believe the talents that God created you with, there is your money hidden there. I trained in medical, just here across. Worked for many, many years there, and my wife also worked in the hospitals. Then from there we went to the ministry full time. Became very poor
I tell you.
in the ministry. When we began our church in 1996 in Ruiru, at one time I had to do an open air meeting because Bishop Mark Kariuki had helped me one time and told me, if you are a preacher, don't sleep hungry. Don't sleep hungry.
Don't sleep hungry.
If you have no money, just do an open air meeting and correct
Because
what.
of that.
And we did that literally, and people are giving 10 bob, 10 cents, 10 cents coins, and I will give it to my wife to, after they have corrected, to go and buy some food for my kids.
Wow.
And but God has helped us. We are not there right now. And so we had reached somewhere and say we made a mistake.
Thank you.
At that time, my wife already was operating a clinic. God did a miracle, and God gave us a clinic in Thika. But that was not enough because I also needed to work. And so when I realized that, I got my hands to holding the Bible one hand, and then the gospel the other hand. And so I ventured into real estate, which I thought I was better in than even in the hospital. And we do real estate. Even she had to stop the clinic at the camp. And we do real estate ourselves.
That's good.
And we do it well. We do it well and big. And I thank God. I believe pastors should work. In our ministry, just like the way you said, we encourage our pastors to work. Others are chiefs, others are teachers, even head teachers, others are bankers, and they do various kinds of ministry. Because we say in prevailing work, we don't do full-time ministry. Because I got very poor when I was in full-time. So I'm really enjoying this, and I think, especially when we are church planters and founders of ministry, we really have to think. We really have to.
And unless you are in an established church with the proper systems, employment, pension, circles, and all that.
And again, also, if the church has not grown like he said, I think somebody said here, if the church has not grown to a certain level, such that they demand you to go really full time. But that is in 2000s. That is in 2000s. Not even 1000. In 2000s. For it, because a church is a very, very expensive thing to manage. Very, very expensive thing.
Also, I just want to add what the man of God is talking about. I grew in a community whereby pastors were free. They don't want to do anything at all. Kwa sababu ni kuaibisha Injili. So hataki kufanya kazi, hataki kuonekana kufanya chochote. But when I saw their poverty, and also here I'm an evangelist poor, I got a challenge. Now, going to the Bible, as he says, the gospel is very expensive. I saw what Apostle Paul was doing. I researched. I saw this one is busy, but this man is paying for himself. Kama ni meli, anafanya nini? Analipa na analipa wale wanaenda nao. Akienda town fulani kama Ephesus, analipa nyumba 200 or something like that. Nikaona hapa huyu mtumishi alikuwa na akili. Because anasema sitaki kuwa burden. Mimi nikatokea nikakataa kuwa burden. Nakataa kuwa burden. Saa yote kupigiwa harambee. Hiyo roho ya harambee kwa pande ile. Harambee, mpaka mtoto harambee, nyumba yako harambee, chakula yenu harambee,
Mtoto shule.
everything. Mimi nikaamua kufanya kazi. Now, kazi ile ambayo nimefanya vile watumishi wanasema passion. I come from a pastoralist community.
That's right.
Na huko kuna mashamba kubwa. So nikaamua kurea mbuzi na ng'ombe. Yeah? Nikarea. Nikaingia farming. Juzi tumekuja town kufungua duka la suti mention. Mimi ndio na supply the best suits in our place. Na tunatoa Turkey na sehemu zingine. I've ventured into this thing. Hizo mbuzi na ng'ombe zimeninunulia mashamba. So I buy shamba, I sell and all that. Na siko hapo, niko na watu wanaofanya kazi hiyo. Hiyo duka ya suti, mama naenda kuangalia, nakuja kufanya shopping hapa, napeleka, nafanya order. Kule kuna wafanyikazi, mimi nikwenda kuangalia. Tumishi kama watoto wakitaka mbuzi wa Christmas na mabandia. Sasa napata ndevu ya kupata. Kama ni shamba, you know, all that. Kama ni ngano Narok, something like that. Na saa hizi, I'm not a beggar. You know? Si urudi.
Kuna sandaka ama kuna sandaka.
Hawajui gari inatoka wapi. Hawajui nyumba yangu iko aje. Hawajui kwa sababu injili ni expensive. Nasafiri dunia yote. Lazima nijilipie ndege. Sasa ukifanya van trip ya mandege, utafanya mara ngapi na watu ndio wanataka kununua sijui nini ya kanisa. Ya watanunua hiyo ama ni wewe? You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So lazima tuangalie maneno kwa sababu imetufunga. Ndio hatujafanya impact. Ndio hatujaleta revolution ya kutosha. Kwa sababu you are under the mercy of people. Now let's get out of the mercy of people and do something for ourselves. Na mambo itakuwa sawa.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Robert. You have really stirred up something that has gone ahead to give us all those examples. But I think, pastors, let's get out there and do it, so that we will not say that we for full time and there is nothing. Full time, the kanisa inaleta 10,000 per month. I mean, you are not full time when the church is only contributing 10,000 shillings. So I thought hawatasoma
Full time.
yeah, it's just a full time.
time.
A full time. Yes,
Yes. Thank you for bringing men of God who have gone ahead of us and have prospered. Kitambo, we used to have pastors with one coat and a bicycle, associated na poverty, but we thank God that you can set an example for us. One time I visited your church, Bishop Katutu, and when we were admiring the work that you have done there, that's when you challenged me and told us, if you want to be where we are, ask us of the bills. Utupe tuangalie. And now it was really a challenge for us, and I went thinking, what am I supposed to do as a pastor? Nisikwe a beggar, because when I look at your congregation, hata wao spare respect because of the work that you have done. And again, on the line of business, it depends with the location where you are. You pray and think about it, because if I look at what you are doing and I go into farming and it is not my thing, it won't prosper. What has worked well for you it doesn't mean it will work well for me. So I think even as pastors, as we learned in the morning that we need to be intentional in the ministry, even also in our lives, what we are going to do. For example, I had a cosmetic business. Nikakaa ikifikia time ya COVID, it wasn't working. I moved. Nikauza hiyo stock and then I went to LPG gas. And since then I have not regretted. And because my bishop is here, now that I am not being into full-time ministry. Thank you so much.
You are getting a sacrifice.
Yes.
In relation to what she's saying, allow me to tell my humble pastors, success can be copied. Success can be
Copied.
Can be copied. Example, by just hearing the story of Manobo, you can copy success. You can copy success. In other words, success does not discriminate. If you honor its principles, the principles will also honor you back. Yeah. So just track some of these things. Nasikia tunasema kulikuwa namna hii.
Na sasa ni hii.
Sasa iko hivi. She'll tell you, if you just speak on what 2, 3, 4 things he did, even if you don't be where he is, you'll be near where he is. Yeah, so you are on the right track. We appreciate that.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Bishop.
My question is, now that you're doing well as a person financially, is there a tendency of your members to think that they don't need to give because the bishop, the pastor
Is well.
has some money? That's something I wanted to, you can talk about it. The other one is that, is there a possibility of getting a burnout because maybe you are comparing yourself with other ministers, other churches?
Okay, let me go first on that because I'm a leadership coach, so you are right within my field. One of the things I'll tell you is leaders model what they want to see. That's the best way to grow your organization. Because you say, when I'm doing leadership training or pastors, tell them that culture is more powerful than vision.
That's true, is it?
Yes.
Rudia.
Nirudie.
Voice.
Yeah. Fungua masikio yote kiongozi. Kama mkate vitabu, fungua masikio yote. Vision, culture is more powerful than vision. Because most of us, we go and look on a vision, but we don't build our culture to drive the vision. So I'm now where Mama is. If the vision was for them to support you, once you get support, then they don't see the need of doing it. So cast a vision bigger than you, whereby you are just a beneficiary of the vision, not the vision yourself. So that even when you've got money, you keep modeling. When our church was young, I look forward to the day when you say, within 10 men, who can give us 100,000, and I'm one of them. I look forward. I prayed, I fasted, I worked hard. Nilisema tunataka wanaume 10 na wanawake walete 1,100. Nilikuwa naomba Mungu, sio natangaza alafu naangalia chini ndio mikono ingine inuka. Ngoja niangalia naona mikono injainuka. So nasema kwamba we 10 men and we are looking for 9 because one of them is where?
It's me.
Is here. I look forward to do that. The day it happened, I was so happy because the next level now, when support you've been blessed, is to model it. Just show it is possible to give 100,000. They will say, you know, pastor kona pesa, but which is better? Pastor kona pesa ama pastor ni maskini? The second masegenya is better for me. Since they have to segenya us, let them segenya us that God has supplied to our needs. All right? And whereby, and also again, is whereby you move the church from you being the project to church being the project. Mungu akifika amewasotea moja. Yeah. Badala ya pastor project na kanisa project, moja imeondoka. Whereby the project now is no longer. One of the things that gives me a lot of joy, even as I was a hustler, Bishop, I have never allowed our church for 25 years to do a single fundraising for me. It's because I have a trauma for fundraising. Because I was educated to do around this by my parents. So I grew up with that trauma. Anytime I find any group in the church, and after you person need to upgrade, carry a pastor, I disband that committee with the figure. I almost get annoyed. I tell them, please, there are so many areas of need in the church. Pastor, we want to bless you. If God has spoken to you, come to me directly. Don't bring someone else. Kanisa inapenda Arabi. Wewe unaambiwa tu na Mungu nipe simu, unaanza kumwambia tulie pasa simu hapa. Asha stop tulie pasa simu. Na Mungu amekuonyesha peke yako. Okay. So what kuongelesha? Yes, last night I was listening to Bishop JB. Alikuwa anahubiri kwa masia Bishop Alan Chuna. Na nilimsikia mzuri. Na kuna mambo alisema pale. Anasema kwamba Bishop Alan Chuna, like him or don't like him, he lived his best. He said, I remember many years ago when the bishop was still very young, I flew with the Bishop of South Africa on business class. Kama angesema kwamba ndio business class ifika 80 years. Na ameenda akiwa 50s. So wakati mwingine tupime hewa vizuri. Hao washirika wanaanza kutupimia hewa. Waanze kusikia guilty when you are enjoying God's blessings. Yeah. And just make sure that you have well accountability structures in your church. They're able to see this what we gave, this what we did. Waone ya kwamba hakuna ngari ya mchungaji na kuna ngari nzuri. Mheshimu Mungu mwenyewe.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Na labda ingine ni kwamba you know, business yako ni private. Members should not know. That's a private thing for you. What they will see is when you are sowing to the same ministry together with them. Together with them. Then you can be able to tell them a testimony of God have done to you when you sow. Another one is about teaching them on the power of giving and the principles. Kwa sababu kuna watu wengi labda wa kiroho hawafundishi watu mambo. Hawafundishi, ni kelele mingi, hakuna mafundisho. Sasa washirika ni wajinga. So hawajui kwamba tithe si ya pastor, ni ya Mungu aliye juu. Kwamba watakapoona hiyo na kusikia na obeying the word, what the Bible says about tithe, what the Bible says about giving, that given it shall come back to you. You plan kidogo, inakuja kidogo. Unapanda kubwa, inakuja kubwa. And God multiply as seed sown. When they know the power of giving, they will do that. They will do that. And they will be giving. Kwa sababu umewafundisha namna ya kutoa. Yes. Na tena project, utawaambia hii ndio project tunafanya. Wewe uko na ngapi? Mwingine uko na ngapi? Ukiona imekataa kutosha, pastor ukiwa sawa, si una top up. Una top up. Okay?
Very well.
Tena kitu kingine labda kuna kitu nataka kufanya na kanisa hajafikia hiyo level. Si ujiwekee level. Jiwekee level. Yeah, jiwekee level.
Okay, I want to conclude this session because it's almost now 4, but I want to harvest any lingering question. You had one question?
Yes.
You had a question? Do you have, there's a question there? Any other person remaining with a question? Only those two. And then I'll give them their closing remarks.
I wanted to ask, is there anything like divesting in church?
Like?
Divesting, where now, I think churches, the finances you get in church, probably they can be used strictly in ministry. But can you start like a side hustle from the church, like probably a school, a hospital, where now you try to divest as a way of expanding the income base of the church?
Okay, that's one question. Let's get the second one so that they can be answered together.
Yes, thank you. My name is Meshak. Amoni jina yangu iko chini kidogo. On the flip side of what we are discussing, I am thinking of someone who is outside town. or probably who has not had these things, or they have not gone to school, but God has called them in the villages. And the only thing they know is God will feed them. And how God feeds them is not their business. It's actually through the people that He has called, and they serve under them. The man of God is fed by the people. And so they have these scriptures. We have all these scriptures. We have not read all of them, but these guys should, the principles that Bishop is talking about, that you should share the good things with the man of God. And even when I am rich, in quotes, of course, that is a topic that we can discuss, because in our hymns, there's a song that we sing, he became poor so that I become rich. Well, the interpretation is different. What richness means to a man of God. Because sometimes we might think that we are poor, yet we are rich. Yet we are rich, because the things, the grace of God and the things that we are doing for the kingdom, I count it as wealth and richness that I have. Well, when we talk about money, those people are, like in our village, those people thrive by Harambes. The people give towards the man of God. And even when you are rich, you have that car, you have whatever, they have also to give the pastor's welfare kit every month. It has to come, and you cannot refuse, because it's them blessing the man of God. Well, you can take back to them, but then they have to bring it. What would you, Bishop, say about such people who think, or not even think, but I also think the same? Because if this is the wealth, because when I look at these people, I am a product of them. I am part of their wealth. If they start counting their wealth in the people that they have grown, I'll be one of them, and other people in the village. So, well, they might not have these big things, that this worldly wealth, but they are wealth.
Okay.
I hope you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay, let's hear about those village pastors and what do you say about them?
Oh, possibly I can answer the village one.
Okay.
I want to these are our
Then you answer the Mtumishi, unajua nini na sisi wote? Everybody has a ushago, everybody has. And it's very important, men of God, to have an urban home and a village home. It's important. Uwe na mboma huko. Uache kuzikwa Lang'ata. Uwe na kitu huko. Hii roho ya Lang'ata achana nayo. So if I can answer him is like this. Unajua, we can be wealthy in the spirit, we can be wealthy in expertise and experience, lakini kule ushago lazima waone na macho, because hawajasoma. Wanataka kuona. Hii kitu natuambia, wewe unafanya. Preach na example. Wewe fanya, uambie watu walime. Uambie mvua inapotea bure, alafu uende uombe, tafuta hiyo scripture. Uambie hivyo. Baada ya mvua kali kama hii, kama saizi inanyesha saa hii, wakati wa kuvuna una beg, ungekuwa na maragu ya kupeana, ungekuwa na mahindi ya kupeana. Kwa nini unakaa hivyo? Amuka ulime, amuka ufuge, amuka tuone ukileta mayai ya fungu la 10, amuka ufanye kitu, kujua na sema lete kuku, lete mbuzi, lete kitu. Yet you can teach them what to do. Na wale watu watafanya vizuri. Kwa sababu pia kule kuna tumakanisa imejaa umasikini. Because washirika ni fellowship peke yako naenda. Hawataki shamba. Hawataki kulima. Si tuwatoe watu katika hiyo hali. Yeah, ili utajiri uingie katika kanisani. Because kuna madharau iko katika makanisa ya kiroho. Zinakaa hivi. Ni tubaya. Tubaya, matope inafagiliwa. mnarukaruka, mnapata homa kwa sababu ya vumbi, na ni kwa sababu hawa watu hawajafundishwa na kuelekezwa namna kufanya. Kuna wengine wetu ambao ni matajiri, they could have supported giving a cow or a mbuzi kama ana pesa. Okay? They know how to sing, how to give, how to do that. Lete malenge 5 ukivuna, na siku hiyo labda ikiuzwa itasaidia church. Sasa kule kwetu walizoea roho ya kupewa, ya missionary work, ya handout, wakawa maskini zaidi because hawajajua kupanda. Sasa huko chini ndio tumewapindua kabisa mawazo, mpaka sasa tukaomba saa zingine wazungu watoke kidogo wajue namna ya kufanya. Wazungu watoke mwisho na mwisho ili wajue, because pastor anapewa baiskeli anaendesha miaka 30 years. Wengine hapa anangojea chakula kupewa bure, na mvua iko na mashamba iko na wafanyi chochote. So I think, man of God, we need to go to mashambani and teach them what they should do. Tena kitu kingine, Paul the man of God alienda hizo mashinani kuwabadilisha na walibadilika. So we just need to have that challenge and do that.
Thank you. That's a good one. I think so. Let's go there. We are teach them and help them to create wealth.
Yes. I think hiyo haiwezi ongezwa kitu.
Hiyo imemalizika sasa.
Mfano nao toa
Huko mashinani.
Yeah. All right. And I think hakuna mashinani deep kuliko Masai Land. Kwa Masai Land ndio mashinani ile deep kabisa.
Na mimi nilianza kutoa dume kwa kongamano tunatoanga.
Okay.
Juzi maaskofu wangu wote wakasema hata sisi tutakujoin. Dume.
Kwa nyuma ya Bwana.
Yes.
Wow. Sina asante.
So
Sasa
the
kwa huyu kiongozi, yes. I have run a school. I began with 6 pupils. Just na watoto 6 kwa shule. Na hiyo shule ikaenda mpaka class 8. Alright. We also run a circle in the church. When we restarted that circle, ilikuwa na watu 10. Na ulikuwa tunatoa shilingi 1,000 kwa mwezi. Now, I'm just a member now, not even a patron. So it's a way of empowering people because you create a culture of savings and borrowing. Because in the world creation they say, you can never be rich because of savings. You have to know how to borrow, unatumiza kazi pale.
Church can have a guest house.
Church can have a guest house. But I will tell you, also kitu kingine watu hawajui. Enda uongee na mkanki yako. Kanisa inatoa pesa Januari, mnaendelea kutoa pesa mkingojea siku ya kujenga. Go talk to your bank. Fix that money. Is kitu. Juzi, sometimes you know when you travel out, watu kubwa mnakutana wao na mnakuwa brothers. Mkikutana nje, watu kubwa yote mkikutana nje, mnakuta kubwa nyinyi brothers. So I found myself sharing hotel room, not hotel, but hotel with the Secretary General of PCA Church. And I began to talk to him. You guys, tell me some things you do. I know you do big things, but tell me small things that you do. Again, he told me, when you raise money for fundraising, we go to the bank, we meet the CEO. Tunaambia kwamba hii pesa umetoa Januari, nitumia mwezi wa 10. Mtupe good discount. Tumpe good discount. Hii pesa ikaa na nyinyi mpaka ile siku ya tutaendelea kuitopa hapo. Ananiambia kwamba last year 2023 we made for the bank 27 million. Wow. Yeah, just by that interest. Of course that also ilikuwa mingi, right? Lakini it's a principle. That's why I say success can be complicated. You just want to put a fixed deposit. Most of us young churches or small churches, you find that tunaweka tu pesa tunaona tunaidharau. Yeah. Lakini hata kama ndogo namna gani, weka wacha shilingi moja, milioni moja. Kitolewa shilingi moja sio milioni. Iko 9.99 milioni moja, utoe tu shilingi moja. Na upelekwa bank umwambie bana inapaki moja tu andika tu hapo. Andika hapo ama mzee mchungaji wa shamba kama huyu akwambie ni 1 million, umwambie niko na 9 abia tafadhali. Enda ujaze sio milioni. So never underestimate even small gains. Small gains can make a lot. Most of the projects the churches can do may not bring a lot of money at once, but small gains is what makes big gains. Yes.
Very well, thank you. I can't leave you.
Yeah?
Yes, you have something.
I'm so blessed. I'm burning with what the bishops are saying.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment.
Yes.
Also with the question that my brother asked. You know, me, I come from Kilifi.
Yes.
Huko ndio nafanya huduma. Originally natoka huko Kiambu. Lakini huko ndio nafanya huduma.
Asante.
Na you know, in Kilifi umaskini ndio huko sana. I think you might have heard. And towards also Lamu County. I have a pastor friend of mine. Unajua wakati mwingine tunaogopa hata kuenda kufanya huduma in those places. He was called by God to Lamu huko kwa Al-Shabaab. Komboni nini Hindi. Place called Hindi. Where the offering in a month wakati mwingine na hesabu inakuja 400. Offering from kanisa. But he did not, you know, we are free to go to those places. He knew God had called him. So he did exactly what the bishops are saying. Yes, God, what can I do? And hana nyumba, hana nini, hana biashara. Akaja Mombasa, kidogo amesoma, akakodisha apartments. He got I think a loan or something. Akakodisha apartments at Serena. Is a place we call Nini. And akakodisha akaanzisha Airbnb.
Okay.
That pastor December peke yake, although msimshtaki kwa KRA, he got a profit of over 1 million from the Airbnbs because he did around 4 or 5 apartments. And during high season, you can, and that is what he's using right now. Yuko anajenga kanisa, wao watu wanatoa 400. Amesema ameona Mungu akiwarai sana na sasa wanajenga kanisa ya mawe. Amen. So you know, when you use those principles, and huko ndio tuko katika umaskini ule hata kuliko Masaini. Huko katika umaskini mbaya sana na uchawi pia.
Wow, thank you. We must close it now. We must close it. But Cameron, you have something?
Yes,
Just in a minute, less than a minute.
I really want to appreciate our bishops here. Thank you. But in taking care of ourselves,
Yes.
I know, Bishop, you handled the issue of burnout very well.
Yes.
Very well. But I'm looking at you and Bishop here. I know Bishop coming from Masai, he walks a lot. What do you do for your to keep fit
Okay.
in the midst of all this pressure?
All right.
And the good feeding we have in our churches.
Number one is personally, and thank you for, I think it's a compliment. Right? When I was younger, I was looking forward to be very big. Yeah, I did not realize that God, it was an asset. But nevertheless, I am very intentional about my personal health. Very intentional about it because apparently men of God don't take care of our personal health. It's something that is and we just fly into that. And one way I found pastors have done, most pastors who are preached like him, sauti wa shari. Yeah, they don't know for us preachers. Our voice is an asset. Sure. As well as sauti yetu. So it's about sauti. Ukianza sauti kazima, utapata una kazi. Sauti ndio njembe yetu. Ndio njembe. No matter how poor the church is, make sure you have got monitors. Monitors help you not to shout. And try to teach yourself to speak without shouting. That's why nasikia mniambia na sauti. I don't shout. I just don't learn how to project my voice because I take care of my Biblia inasema. You can still say Biblia inasema. Yeah. Okay. So what wanasikia? So health ya kwanza, anza kwanza with health yako, sauti kwanza. How you use your voice is very important. But personally, also I ensure number one is, this is a tricky one, I know how to say it. Eating well. Eating well does not mean eating nyama kadhalika. No, it's just eating habits. They say food is what you eat and how you eat it. When I wake up in the morning, myself, the first thing I'll do, I'll get a glass of warm water and a lemon. Because that is the most powerful detox on your life. Then nikisha kunywa hiyo, sasa naenda kuoga na kujiandaa. All right, and also I have not believed the theory. Western, there are 3 meals in a day. Personally, I go for 2 meals. Once every week, every day I'll take between 5 and 10 minutes. I don't say every day to do my little exercises. Tukaketi chini hapa tuseme kwamba kila mtu achape just press ups 15. Kuna wengi atafika 3. Yeah. Ya tatu unaanguka hapo chini huwezi amuka. Because they say your muscles are your health. There's no more fitness. Dogo tu. No, I have a gym. But hata niliona hiyo gym siendagi sana. But at least twice a month I'll go for gym. Small, but the part of the matter is this. You are mental, na kulala mzuri, lala vizuri. Sleep well. Yes. Because lack of sleep affects your memory. Yeah. Lala vizuri. Kanisa ni ya Mungu. Kanisa ni ya Mungu. Yeah. Kanisa ni ya Mungu. Don't worry too much. Yeah, kanisa ni ya Mungu. Yeah. Kanisa ni mke ya Mungu. Yeah. Please take care of your wife. Christ has got ace. Usichunge mke wa mtu sana. Kanisa ni mke wa Kristo. Chunga ule mke wako. Yesu atachunga mke wake.
Amen.
So kanisa achia bwana yake. It doesn't mean you neglect, but simply saying, don't have sleepless night. No. Just strike a balance. But on your personal health is mind what you eat very much. Yeah, I wish I had. I'm very passionate about nutrition personally. Anything on health and nutrition, I read word for word. Yeah, ni kama siku hizi nimekuwa daktari kwa nutrition. Yes, example, umefika nyumbani umechelewa saa 4, unachukua ungali kiwango hii, una mesa hiyo ungali. Yeah. Usiku mzima akili imelala ikisiaga hiyo ungali. Haikuja kupumzika. Yeah. So I'm just telling about me, just very small thing. Well, I need to tell you that, but before that one, not to make you guilty, my wife still has been bigger than this.
Wow, this one we can continue on and on until tomorrow, but we must finish. Let's appreciate the bishop for thank you for your contribution and for asking questions that have made the place to be lovely and lively for that matter. We will continue again another time next year. A time like now, we will still host you together here and we can continue with these discussions. There are many things we haven't been able to look at in terms of personal development and the like. We have not been able to get to that. But because we are here tomorrow and the day after, we will see how much we can be able to do that. It's raining outside and I want to invite our sister Jen to tell us about tomorrow, what we expect and what time we want you to be here, and assure us there's a cup of tea. Thank you. Karibu sana Jen.
Thank you so much. Let's appreciate this wonderful